Hey guys,
I'm Hallie,
and I'm Jamie.
and this is Literal Nonsense.
Good morning, literal nonsense.
Hello.
We are recording in the morning. I think this is the first time ever.
This is brutal.
Um, yeah, so we're recording. It's bright and early, before 9 a.m., which is
Yeah.
crazy for both of us.
Yeah, me and Jamie got some shit to do, so.
Yeah, tell us what you're doing today. Yours is way more fun than mine.
Yeah, I'm going to golf ball Sunday. Can't wait to see SZA.
There you go.
But it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
And the work week starts tomorrow.
Right off the bat.
God, I'm going to be fucked.
How was Friday, though? We didn't even talk about it.
Oh, yeah, Friday was good. We got there a little later. But we saw Dominic Fike. Love him. He's a true performer. He was definitely on something. I don't know, but he was killing it.
I feel as though when you go to these things or like perform at them, I would think, yeah. You know,
need to be on something.
Yeah. Even just like shrooms. You don't need to be like going crazy. Like you don't need to be on crack. But like
no. I don't think
shrooms would be a wild experience probably.
That would be. Imagine.
No.
Yeah, me neither. And then we saw Faruko and
you had a little accent there. Oh, the accents keep coming.
Yeah, they were good. And then Posty was like the headliner.
Nice.
He was good.
So you've had like a fun-filled weekend.
Yeah, like I've seen Posty before, and like he's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like chugging beers on stage. He's like, "How the fuck we doing?"
First of all, that's a choice. Not performing, chugging a beer at like past 25 is wild.
It's insane. So funny though. He's awesome though. But yeah, to get there was crazy.
Oh, like the traffic and stuff?
No, so many trains. Well, we took.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Like trains. Just the process. So do you do that again today? Same thing?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how people live in the city. It's not a life for me.
No. Chelsea wants to. Well, Chelsea works there, but she said like she's considering moving because like just commuting sucks. Yeah. Like it's so fucking terrible.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
Right. But you'll have such a good day. I'm excited to see pictures. Send me like pictures and videos. I feel like I didn't even know you went Friday until like after, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of the photos. My friend Nat has them. So I want to
see your cute little outfits that you wore.
All right. Bet. So cool. What's been going on with you, Jamie?
Oh, you know what's been going on with me, but thanks for the leeway. Okay, so guys, this is the funniest story of all time. So
I don't even know how this happened.
If you typically skip the banter, don't, because this is wild. So Tuesday I didn't want to go to the gym, and Ryan wanted to go to the gym. I wanted a nap. I was just really tired. So I don't know why he had a piece of weed on him, but whatever. So he threw it at me. Like whatever, like to hit me in the head with it. Like it was tiny. Well, it wasn't tiny.
It wasn't tiny.
It was, but whatever. It didn't hurt, I guess is the point. So he throws it at me and he's like, come on, come to the gym, whatever. And then I felt it go in my ear. And I was like, okay. So I turned over because I was like laying on my side. I turned over and like shook my head. Like I was like, okay, it's out, obviously. Like why else would I think anything other than that? Anyways. So the next few days I'm working and I'm like, I like legit smell weed and I'm like panicking. I work with children. So I'm like, did something fall in my bag? Like, I'm like, oh my God. So I can't find anything. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, this is weird. So then I was editing the podcast actually on Friday and I had my headphones in and I took them out and it smelled so much like weed. And I was like, oh my God, I think the weed's in my ear from the other day. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. Cause I like clean my ears with Q-tips, like whatever. Like I was like, this is bizarre. So I come home and I'm like, babe, I think there's weed in my ear. And he's like, no, there's not. And I was like, yes, and you just smell my ear hole. So we're at the gym when I'm having this conversation and he like sticks his nose in my ear and he was like, oh my God. He was like, it's really strong. And I was like, I'm so serious. I think it's in there. And he's looking with like a flashlight. He's like, I don't see it. And I'm like, but it's in there. Like, it's not like I'm making this up. Like, I knew you threw it at me and it did go in my ear. So like, it's not like this is somehow So then I text my group chat with my two maid of honors, Chelsea and Amelia. And Chelsea, for some reason, like fell prey to the TikTok trend of like the deep cleaning your ears and like the little like light you get.
Yeah.
So she had like bought one of those devices, and she's like, okay, I can come over tonight and I'll bring the ear cleaner. I was like, okay, fine, please do. So she came over, she brought it, and then we just hung out, and we didn't look. But then after, I was like, oh, like maybe, she's gone. Like, can you look? And I looked and I thought I saw something, and it really freaked me out. So I was like, I don't want to look like that. I don't know. It was like almost like, I don't like when things are where they shouldn't be, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if it was a bug, I would get it. But even the weed, I was like, I don't like that that's in my body. So I was like, Ryan, you have to look. So he looks. And at first, he's like, I don't see anything. I'm like, no, I'm telling you it's in there. Like, go deeper, maybe. I don't know. And he looks and he's like, oh my God, it's in there. I see it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So we took a video of the ear thing, and there is in fact a clump of weed in my ear. So I was like, I was panicking, I was crying because like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it's funny now, but like, I was really upset because I'm also okay, guys. At this point, it's 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now to my wedding. So I'm like, if I have to go to the doctor, like, I was like, I don't have time for this. I
You
don't
have
have
to
time
cut
for,
your ear off. I
or
mean,
like, even if it like hit, I don't want to get an infection. I was like, this is just, we don't have time. So I was like really upset, and then like he tried to get it out, and we were like communicating a lot. This was like a test of like true communication because I didn't want to get it. So he was digging around my ear, and I'd be like, all right, it's hurting, go slower, like whatever. Like it was like a whole fucking thing in our house at like midnight. So he couldn't get it because it was like, I feel like close to like my eardrum, because when like you hit a
he's like,
Q-tip
yeah, he's
in, like it
pushing it
was,
further.
well, he wasn't even getting to it. He could just see it, but he wasn't even
Oh.
touching it. Like he was like, I see it.
How big is
So,
your ear hole that he could see all the way to your fucking eardrum?
well, it's like a pretty straight shot, and like the flashlight's small.
Hmm.
So I don't know. So he's like, I can't get it, because he would get close and it would start hurting. Like, if you like push your Q-tip by
Yeah.
accident, like it would be like that. And I was like, it's hurting me. So whatever, we didn't get it out. The next morning we tried again, couldn't get it out. I was really upset. So I called my mom and I was like, you need to come help me. So she
Laura
made
to the
me,
rescue.
yeah, she made me an appointment at the Ameti Center, like urgent care. But then she came over with peroxide
Hmm.
as like a last ditch effort. And me and Ryan were gonna try that, but I was like, honestly, like I told my mom here, like you did this to
Yeah.
me. And so she put peroxide in my ear, like a lot. And then the first time, nothing happened. I flipped over, no bueno. And I was like, oh my God. And then the second time she did it, it like, ew, floated out of my ear. And then so she was like, Ryan, get a tweezer quick. And they like plucked it out. Mm-hmm. And then it was honestly quite large.
It was.
It
I
was
was so
big.
confused how that fit in your ear.
Yep. And it like just traveled all the way down. So, um, what the fuck?
This is like the most bizarre, disgusting story I've ever heard.
I'm opening my wedding vows with it. I've decided officially.
Amazing.
Because I was like trying to think, I know what I want to say for my vows, like the overall theme, but I was like, I feel like I need to open up with something funny because like everyone loves that, you know?
You just needed a little inspiration. You need some trauma.
Right. I asked for inspiration and I received it. So, Jesus. So that was my story. And my mom like called my grandma and was like, oh, I need to go to Jamie. Something's in her ear. So my grandma after was like, oh, did you get it out? And she's like, oh, what was it? And I was like, you didn't tell her? Like, because my grandma doesn't care. And
Yeah.
my mom was like, oh, it was weed. And my grandma was like, what? She was like, how did that happen? Honestly, though, like Ace's shot for Ryan. I mean, that's like, he should play basketball
Seriously.
professionally.
And what is he doing? Working a corporate job.
Right. Missed opportunity.
Seriously.
So that's it. That's our update.
Anyways.
But I had to share that because that's just too funny to not.
Crazy.
I was
thing.
texting all of you and you, like all of my friends, and you guys were all like, shut up. I was like, no, I swear to God. What do we do with this?
I was like, there couldn't have been a more bizarre statement ever texted to me. There's a piece of weed stuck in my ear. I was like, what?
Yep. So that was that. Anyways, okay, so we can get started now that we told you guys all about our weird days and weekends. Jesus. And so, all right, guys, we are on the last part. Like we mentioned last week, last part of this book, last part of our coverage on SJM for now, last part of Crescent City. Like we're just wrapping it up.
Yeah.
So this episode is going to cover part 3. It's called The Ascent. It's chapter 65 through 102. Also the bonus chapter, which we will talk about, I'm sure, because we have all the feelings about it.
Yeah.
And then pages 581 through 838. So that's it. Let's get going. We're almost done. So we left off last part of the book, last episode, with Evelyn is healed. The big bad daddies, which I like that phrase, I wanted to say it, are dead. So Morven and Enar, the Autumn
Yeah.
King, are dead. So I'm glad she's killing some people, but it's people I had no attachment to. So whatever. Now, we also left off the last part with Asphodel Meadows just got bombed, which is where all the humans are back in Crescent City. So these series are a bunch of pieces of shit, basically. So I guess this means like war is officially declared. It's weird. I feel like
Yeah.
I liked Akatar, like the war was building up. I feel like there wasn't really like a war build up in this book.
No,
But then
it's
all of a
just
sudden
like,
we're like having a big battle.
yeah. I mean, like you could tell like it was leading there, right? Because she's doing all this
Yes.
work to like
Yes.
figure out what she has to do. But like there was no like, this is war.
Yeah, which I don't know. Maybe I'm just like into like a slow burn foreplay type of vibe, but like I don't like when things are just instant gratification, which we're going to talk about a lot this episode, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bryce finally apologizes to Hunt. Okay, thank you. Finally, like stop being such a bitch. Now, they all can call home. There was no service on Avalon, but now, because she healed the land, we now all of a sudden have service.
When I read that, I was like, they were like, oh, everyone was calling home to their families. I was like, you're telling me that Avalon has never had service in its thousands of years that it's been there, and now all of a sudden you can just magically call home.
Yeah, I guess in
Is that
theory,
a plot hole? Was that a plot hole?
I think no, they mentioned like now that she healed the land, but like how does you healing the land give you service? Like
So
you're still on an
yeah,
island in the middle of nowhere, but
yeah,
I don't know, that's not how service works.
so
Okay.
weird. I was annoyed
Yeah.
by that. I was high key annoyed. I was like, are you kidding me?
I mean,
Make
again,
it
it's
make it any
convenient.
more convenient.
Right. Yeah. Whatever. And so now this whole part, the whole time they're talking to Bryce, there's so many like queenly, regal words to describe her and like her
Yeah.
mannerisms, and she acts like a queen. And I'm like, she's acting the same as she always fucking has. Again, like shove it down my throat some more that she's queen. And almost like to me, right? Like this gives me the vibes of like a guy, in like college being like, I'm a good guy. And I'm like, why don't you just act like a good guy? Like, so
True.
Bryce, just act like a queen. Like, it's just like she's not doing anything different, but SJM is like,
Yeah.
she's a queen. And I'm
Yeah.
like, also my cat just took a running like start to jump over the gate. Like she like backed up. And, I was like, whoa. Anyways.
Gotta get the clearance.
Yeah. No, she's an old girl. She probably needed to. Anyways, so also Bryce is being so cryptic about how they should meet up. Like, you'll know when it's time. You don't know when it's too late to help us. And I'm
I was
like,
what?
also, you're on the same team. Just tell them. Just let them know. Be like, hey, guys, we're going to do this. And when this happens, that's your signal.
Like, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah, like she's not being a good leader or queen. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And then while they're in Avalon, Ethan and Hypaxia get there. They're going to help out and just like tell them all what's going on, whatever. When they get there, Bryce is like,
no, they went there because they wanted to get Sophie's body.
oh, yes, thank you. Okay, I knew they went there for a reason, and I was like,
Because whatever Morven had her body.
yeah, and Ethan wants Sophie because she's a Thunderbird to resurrect and like unreaperize Siggy. Okay, fine. So that's why they go there. Thank you. So they go there for that, and then Bryce is like, "LOL, not important, actually. Turn right back around. I need you, Hypaxia, to make the antidote for this parasite in the water that is like the Asteri's like tampering down our powers. So please turn around." And then they're like, "Oh, also, the whole island crumbled and regrew, so therefore Sophie's body is like dirt. Like, sorry." And Ethan's like just miserable because he's like dealing with the guilt of turning her into a Reaper. We'll talk about that plot point next because that just deserves a whole own section of its own. So
yeah, stupid. Yeah, so they listen like good cronies that they are, and they head back to
Right.
Crescent City.
Good job.
Yeah, and like Hypaxia, or was it Ethan, was like, oh, like maybe we should look at the Reapers and see like how the parasite is in them. But if they're dead, then they don't have the parasite, and da 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 da.
Right. So like they can almost like be, they could see what they're missing that everyone else has and be like, oh, that's what the parasite is.
Yeah, so Hypaxia is like doing her scientific method, and she's getting
She really
samples
is.
from every single type of water source there is, and great, amazing. Well, they make the antidote, amazing. Um, Also, there's like an allusion to Ethan challenging Sabine at this point. Like, you know that it's headed towards like Ethan is challenging her to be prime or
Which
whatever it is.
it's been gearing up for that. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the whole Siggy thing, like I get it adds drama, which is like fine. Like you can totally write plot points just for the sake of like for fun,
Yeah.
entertainment, drama. But I feel like in this particular series, I don't appreciate it as much because like everything else is so thought out, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, that it's like you could have just had Ethan challenge Sabine.
Exactly. Yeah. So
That's
like,
it.
the whole thing is like, okay, Ethan was like the younger brother, and I don't want to call him an underdog, but like he was just like the random younger brother that is going through it because he was killed, and his brother's love interest was being a dick. Well, not really being a dick, but like whatever. And then this new heir comes into the line, and Ethan's like, praise her, we need to save her, and then ends up fucking killing the bitch because she's inexperienced at fighting and just so happened to like move the wrong way, and then he fucking slices her head off with his fucking claws. And now he's going through all this guilt, like, oh, woe is me, woe is me. And now he's working with Hypaxia for this antidote. She makes it. He takes the antidote, and then all of a sudden he's like this all powerful fucking wolf, and he has like elemental magic. And I'm
Oh yeah,
like,
he has like a like frost at his fingertips and shit.
yeah, I was like, what is going on here? And then in his rage of like being full of all this magic, he runs to the fucking Fyro, right? Is that where they're at? No, they're at
Uh,
Moonwood.
yeah, they're
Moonwood.
at Moonwood. Fyro is the Fae.
Faye,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, so he goes to Moonwood, and then like he sees Perry, which is like Emily, who is like an
Mm-hmm.
enemy, like her little sister.
Like I
And
think they allude, or I don't know if it's illusion or it's fact. Like Emily would be Sabine's heir, like because there's
yeah,
no one
she's like
left.
next in line.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like Ethan's like, gather all the wolves, gather all the wolves. So like they all come gathering, even though majority of them are away on vacation.
Yeah,
Like
weird,
they're all
weird.
gone. And he was like, there's a parasite in the water, and he's like telling them all about like the Asteri's secrets and whatever. And then out of nowhere, fucking Sabine, Siggy, and the astronomer come strolling out. Like,
Yeah, because like
okay,
Sabine like not like recruited them, but basically they like spin it to Sabine's positive and they're like, "Oh, Ethan killed her because he like wanted to have a shot, like made up this whole whatever cuz Sabine's a bitch."
yeah, but just like mad fucking random. And then all of a sudden, the old fucking Prime comes in, and like no one has seen this guy in fucking years because he's like crippled, like sitting like in his little chair. Like it reminds me of that thing from SpongeBob, and it's like, what are they selling? Like
Yeah,
that's like
well,
what I
didn't
imagine
last
him
week?
as.
Oh no, you said the astronomer was like the scientist in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, there's many crippled, creepy things.
Anyways, but like this guy's old as fuck, and then all of a sudden he just shows up, and he's like, you know what? Ethan is my sole heir as Prime. Fuck you, Sabine. And then Sabine's like,
Which is crazy.
what?
You're like, my daughter is a fucking psycho. See you later.
Yeah. And then fucking Siggy and Sabine like fucking kill the Prime.
Which was wild.
Which I was like, are you kidding me? And then Ethan comes and he fucking shatters their sword, like the Fendir sword, and he fucking kills Sabine. Like it was just like all
And
like,
like Siggy was like sucking at the prime soul and like she's being
yes.
a psycho. So I guess here's my thought on all of that. I just feel like again, like Siggy being a reaper and like all of that, and like maybe that's like whatever inspired
Hmm.
certain things or like the drama. But my thing is like that whole plot point could have happened right where Ethan goes to Moonwood and tells all the wolves like there's a parasite, whatever. Sabine by herself is like fuck this guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the Prime comes out and is like, actually, Sabine, I'm so sick of you. Ethan's my heir. The two of them could have fought. Sabine could have killed her father by herself. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it could have
Yes.
all made sense without Siggy.
Yes.
And I think Siggy was like a Reaper just for like the effect. But even that, like, it wasn't even like Siggy served the plot point of like Ethan being like, oh, that's why we should test the Reapers. He was walking into the House of Flame and Shadow, a Reaper passed him who wasn't Siggy, and he was like, oh my God, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
like, it still could have made sense.
Yeah. I don't know. That was crazy. I mean, like, I
Yeah.
just felt like it was, I don't know,
And like I told you, I think, I don't know if it was,
unnecessary.
yeah, I don't think it was, it might have been in one episode or 2 episodes ago. It was one of our Crescent City Flame and Shadow episodes when I said, like, if Ethan's going to be Prime and all this happened, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Well,
Here he
like,
is.
here we are.
Also, and then also random too is like this girl, this one wolf Perry. Like I
Mm,
think we've maybe heard her name once or twice in this whole series, like just like casually, like not even like as like a major player, and now all of a sudden like Ethan is like obsessed with her fucking scent because she smells like strawberries. Like
and cinnamon, which, I mean,
I don't know,
yum.
whatever. Like what the like, and like she made it a point to be like, not once, she said it like 2 or 3 times in this book, like in this last section.
And then he said, like, she took the antidote and her scent smelled different, but now it's back to normal. So I wonder if she's like,
Yes.
I wonder. Okay, so I'm annoyed by it, but I think that maybe they're mates.
Mm,
And that's what they're alluding to. Because Perry, the only time you're
Jesus
right
Christ.
that she was mentioned was Ethan said he used to like pretend to like date Perry or like her so that no one knew he was in love with Bryce. So
Yeah.
like him and Perry were like kind of like everyone thought they'd be together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Um, so, or like maybe like, the only thing I could think of, A, they're mates, that's the scent he's smelling, or B, she took the antidote and she was like powerful and then like drank the water again because she was like maybe scared of her power. Like, they mentioned that she's an Omega, which is like the lowest power of the pack.
yes.
So I'm wondering if maybe like when she takes the antidote, um, like she has some crazy power, and then in future books, maybe she'll be like Ethan's second or Ethan's heir or whatever. That's like the only two things I think of why they keep mentioning her scent.
Mm,
Either one, maybe both. I don't know.
yeah. I was reading and I was like, if this is a fucking mate thing, I'm just over it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And
I'm
so,
tired of
well,
these mates.
yeah, yes. And so while Ethan's just all of a sudden becoming prime of the wolves, okay, casual. Um, Bryce Hunt and Bryce's parents all go to the Northern Rift to open hell. They're like, This is what we're doing. Time to
Yeah.
go." Um, the Northern Rift is like deserted. It's all Arctic, but the harpy's there, and she like ate all of like the guards, which I was
Yeah.
like sick. Like I didn't mind that. I liked it. Um, and so, like she was dead and the Asteri used Hunt's lightning to resurrect her. So like that I was fine with. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
that's like a creepy zombie spooky thing and like she's eating people and I was like, yeah, bring that bitch back.
Hmm.
So Bryce opens the Northern Rift to Nesta. Um, so she on purpose does this.
Yeah.
Mind you, opens the shit in Nesta's like living room and she's like reading a book and she's like, hello? Like, hello, Bryce, who stole all of our stuff. Like,
Yeah.
the fuck? So
And
she
I like
wants
how they talk about Reese
yeah.
in this book, which I think is very interesting.
He's like ready to fucking come kill this bitch.
Like, you would think he was like the worst fucking person.
I
Like
think
he's
that
like a scary, all powerful man. Like, just
which
like,
he is though,
he,
you know?
yeah, but like like they really play into that. I'm gonna say it, like evil Reese theory. Like he's almost like playing into it.
I think he is evil Reese to his enemies, right? And so
Mm,
especially now that Nyx
true.
is alive, you have this bitch who's unhinged, stole Azriel's sword, and like released an Asteri for questioning. Like, you don't play with that when like this can destroy your world. You guys have been through all of this so much,
Mm.
and now you have a baby. Like I could see him being like, nope, absolutely not.
I
Out
guess
you
I'm
go.
just like used to like what we
Feyre's,
know. Yeah, like
yeah, like her point of
Feyre's
view,
Reese. You know what I mean?
right? Which I'm sure he still is, but yeah, I think like, even when Feyre knows him, like she wouldn't see the scenes of him, but she'd be like, oh, like he's going to torture the Autumn Court soldiers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and like she knew about it, but she was kind of just like would gloss over those plot points.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I liked how they described. I honestly I liked it. Like I like how they were like the night was like the power was coming. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
like, and I was like, oh damn, he's like ready to fucking kill her. But again, he doesn't know her, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
know both characters, whatever. Um, but yeah, he's like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of my world. You're like making drama for me, like, and like endangering my family.
Mm-hmm.
So Bryce asks Nesta, she's like, I want the mask. I need it. So her plan is that she wants to use the mask to resurrect all of the fallen angels from the last rebellion because these Siri have their wings hung up in their palace as like trophies. And there's because they didn't
Disgusting.
get like proper burials, there's like a piece of the soul attached to them.
Yeah.
So she wants to use the mask to resurrect them and then use them to power like the mech suits because they don't need like human pilots. They could just be powered by like whatever.
The essence of their souls.
Yeah. So that's her plan. So she asked Nesta for the mask. Now she's like, I understand you don't want to do this. So I will give you my parents in exchange for the mask. Um,
What a weird fucking exchange.
it is like it's a weird exchange, but I understand in the sense of like she wants her parents the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I feel like
I mean, so then really I mean, it ends up in Bryce's favor either way. She'll get the mask to do like her dirty work, and then she also like saves her parents.
right, but I also think at the same time, like Nesta knows, like, okay, well, she's gonna want to come back for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
if she lives, like, you know, she'll want them back because they're her parents.
yeah.
Um, so it does, I think that was actually like a pretty smart trick. I mean, it's crazy. You're like, that's a bold move. But I think it was smart because Nesta again knows if Bryce lives, she's gonna open the rift again. Like
Yeah.
she wants them back. And like Bryce even says, if they don't make it, she's like, that place looks lovely. They'll
Yeah.
do great over there. They have each other. Like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Nesta's like, okay, here you go. Like, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. Also, we see Cassie in here, which I'm like, aw.
Yeah.
So that was whatever. And like Reese is like, rumbling up the power of the mountain with his power. So you're like, oh, see you later. So yeah, so then she gets the mask, she throws her fucking parents' dumbasses in there, and then she closes the rift. So okay. So Bryce then uses the mask on the harpy because she's like here, she's trying to kill everyone, she's going crazy. Um so Bryce like uses it to be like go be at peace, which I thought was actually kind of nice because like
Mm-hmm.
that's sad that this woman is like a psycho killer murderer. Um, Also at this point, Celestina, Isaiah, and what's the other girl's
Naomi.
name? Is it Naomi?
Yeah.
Okay, so they
I
get to the
think.
rift because they were hunting the harpy. And Hunt like loses his fucking mind because
Yeah.
Celestina turned him in, and that's why he got tortured and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just a weird vibe. Like he really wants to kill her, and he's like not taking no for an answer. Bryce is like, "Can you relax?" And he's like furious at
He's really
Bryce
like beefing hard. Like, yeah,
with
he's like, I
everyone.
hate her. Like, if she wants her alive, I hate her. Some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like he's like shitting on Bryce, shitting on Celestina, which I understand that I'd want to kill her too. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the
Mm-hmm.
reason I literally got tortured.
Yeah.
It was still like I was like, wow. Okay. So I don't know. I think he gets in these weird like ragey moods. Like even
Mm-hmm.
like the one in whatever book that was, book two, where like, the Hind almost got them and he like wouldn't relax.
Hmm.
Like fucking relax.
Oh
Like
yeah, and then they had to have sex, so he would calm
yeah.
down.
Like chill.
Yeah.
So it's like the same vibe. Like he's like just not relaxing.
Yeah.
Um I think he gets like consumed by his power. I don't know what happens to him. It's weird. I don't love it.
Well, yeah, and like in his fit of rage, he's like thinking over everything that like the princes of hell told him, and he just casually melts off his halo.
Yeah.
I was like,
Because
where
they
was this
told
in the
him
other book?
right. Well, I guess he didn't know. Like he was saying he like couldn't like get that pocket of his mind. I don't know, but like because he is like a son of hell or a prince of hell himself, they were like, the halo cannot
I can't be tamed.
right.
I
Like the
can't be
halo can't
tamed.
who sings that?
Britney Spears.
Oh, thank you. I don't know why
Britney.
in my head I was like it's Kesha. I
What?
have a Kesha problem. I love
If,
her.
okay, you have a Kesha problem, but you think her song is that?
No, I just I feel like
Fake
the
fucking fan.
no, but like the way that you sang it, it was very like 2000s, like,
Well, yeah. It's Britney,
you know,
bitch.
yeah. Anyways, whatever. So Hunt like then also releases Isaiah's crown.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, like he didn't realize he could do that. I guess he didn't know he could even try. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I didn't even fucking try to do that. Why would I try? You know. Um.
It was
So
just
I don't
like so
know.
casual. It was just like, yep,
Yeah,
poof, now it's gone.
yeah. Everyone finds out like enlightening knowledge, and then they just like easily do it, and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah, literally.
And so Bryce then like shifts the rift, and she's like, all right, time to open it again. And then they open the rift to hell. So hell is open. They're ready. They're time to go. Real quick, just as we're seeing Bryce and Hunt scenes, I will say book one, I like them. I like their passion. I like the build up. I like the sexual tension, all of that. Like I like them as a couple a lot. As the books progressed and their sex scenes in general, I did not like them.
Mm-mm.
Them as a couple, I don't think I like them anymore. I have no investment in them. Like I like when they're sad, when they're happy, I don't care, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like book one, I liked them a lot. Like almost perhaps sometimes more than like recent favorite. Cause I was like, ooh, they're very like sexy and like
Yeah.
there's all this tension and it's like I said, like it reminded me of Nesta and Cassie, but in like a new, exciting way. As the books went on, like my mind really changed with them. Like I liked
Mm.
them less. Um, Also throughout this entire last section of the book, they just keep calling each other husband and wife. When did you get
Yeah.
married?
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Like they kept like he was like my wife or like oh go talk to my wife. Oh go talk to my husband. I'm like,
but
did
that's the
I
thing.
miss something?
But like all, no, I also don't know either. But like that's the thing too is that when they like announced their engagement or whatever, they were like Prince Hunt, like, but there's no mention of a prince, even though they're fucking married. So is he a consort? I don't know.
I I'm just so confused. Yeah, like I feel okay.
Maybe it was like one of those things that like when they were like we are mates,
Yes,
and that's like
I
we are
was.
husband and wife.
Yes, I was gonna say that. I was like, they're literally declaring all these things. Like, hi, if you're mates, there needs to literally be a mating bond. You can't just say that. If you're married, there needs to be literally documents. Like, what are you guys talking about? You're just saying you're all these things that you're literally not.
Yeah,
You're
no.
literally not mates, probably in my theories.
Yeah,
You're
I mean
literally
like
not married. Did you get married? Like it gives like high school when you'd be like, "That's my hubby," like, and you're like
mhm.
16, and
Yeah.
like you're very much not married.
Yeah, I also would like to go on record here, and I think like when we were reading the second Crescent City book, or maybe it was like after the first one, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Throne of Glass is my favorite series, and then now actually it's Crescent City, and then it's Akatar. Well, this book has changed my mind, so now Akatar is back in the second slot.
Yeah, I think I'm.
I don't know,
I
like
think
at
when
the end of
I
two, like she had a lot of places she could have gone with this, and like this book just did not deliver.
I think I'm still Akatar, Throne of Glass, Crescent City, which makes
Mhm.
sense for us. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think that was what I said originally as well. Don't quote me on that though, but I have high hopes for Akatar, and we'll talk about that how this book ends as well. I'm not ruling out Akatar,
If she
so
writes a shitty Akatar book, we literally might just have to never read another Sarah J. Maas book ever again.
yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, so let's continue on. We'll get there at the end of the episode because yeah,
Okay.
we have thoughts. So the rift is open, and they're like, "Hell, merge with us," and they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, okay, yay."
It's like is that Game of Thrones?
Mm.
With all the dead things, what
Oh
were
yeah,
they
yeah.
called?
White Walkers,
Yeah, the White Walkers. And
which
you
that
just see
show that
like
show was anticlimactic too.
yeah, it was. But you just see like the like thousands upon thousands of like
Yeah,
fucking White Walkers behind the wall. And the
yeah. That's
wall
like
was
literally what
down.
hell is like. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Anyways,
Although House of Dragon coming out this week, very excited about it.
I couldn't get into the first season. I like
Really?
rewatched like the first two, three episodes, and I just was
Hmm.
like, I can't watch it anymore. This is so boring.
I enjoyed it honestly. I think give it another shot.
Three times a charm.
Maybe. I mean, it is slow because like it's like you're building the whole new like prequel.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot, honestly, and I'm excited. I It's gonna be like on live when we're on our honeymoon, so I'm like, well, I'm not like to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I'm missing it. How devastated that I won't watch until I get home. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
like obsessed like I was with Game of Thrones, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it.
Interesting.
So try it out.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, so we mentioned Hypaxia, made the antidote, and then they have to go to the Under King. Like, Ethan's like, I need to
Yeah,
see Connor.
obsessed, which I
Um,
get.
Ethan has like a fetish for the dead, honestly. So
Oh, Ethan.
him and Hypaxia go to the Under King, and they're talking about like going into the temple that's there. And
Mm-hmm.
like one of the goddesses that like they worship, her name is Erd. She has like Ethan's like she has these symbols on her that look familiar to me. Immediately I was like, yep, throwing a glass. Come on.
Yeah, same. And I think Erd is like almost like this world's like cauldron. Like she made the world.
Yes. Yeah,
So like she's like
exactly.
the powerful, which you're like, okay, that would make sense for being like word marks, whatever.
Well,
Or
yeah,
like,
because then that was the thing because then they're talking to the Under King and he was like, "Oh, like before there was word." So then I'm like, "Okay, like word marks, like this is confirmed
like that
now."
was her full name, and I was like,
Yeah, so like
well,
I see that like Sarah J Maas is like leaving the door open, for maybe a Throne of Glass mashup because like I remember in one of the interviews that she did, she was like, "Yeah, the only completed series is Throne of Glass," and then she's like looking around, she's like, "Or is it?" And I'm like, "Oh my, this bitch."
so here's my thoughts on this real quick. I mean, yeah, like let's
I mean,
talk about this part. So I don't mind her illusion that like again, like I said, like that people from this world came from Throne of Glass world or
yeah,
whatever. But I'd rather us just know that and like leave it there. I don't need you to open a
yes,
whole new world. Like I almost want her just to leave it. Like the fact that they're saying, "Oh, the word marks, that's how Erd from this world." And then we're going to talk about it when we talk about Lydia in a few minutes.
mm-hmm.
Like I feel like cool, you made enough connections where I know that it's connected. So just leave it as like that's we know all the worlds are connected somehow.
Yeah. I feel like it's just like fun as a reader to like see this and be like, "Oh my
Yes.
god," but like it
Yeah.
doesn't need like further elaboration.
No. Like I don't need a whole other thing like how you just did with this book. Please don't do
Yeah,
that actually.
yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll see. But anyways, um, so now that is confirmed, and he ends up meeting with Connor, and you know they're talking about the Under King and Connor's death, and Connor's like he has like 7 minutes to talk to him. He's like, "There's so much I want to tell you that I feel like I couldn't
Also,
say."
he can't talk,
Yeah, so he's literally
Connor, yeah.
it's Casper the Friendly Ghost, I guess,
Right.
and it ends with like the fucking Connor gives a bullet to Ethan, and Ethan's like, "What the fuck is this?" But like Connor can't speak, right? And then like the Under King is like, "Your time is up. Like you've been granted more time than like any other mortal." And Ethan's like, "You know what? Fuck you!" And he goes and he fucking kills the Under King.
Yeah, and like Hypaxia makes like the killing
What?
blow or whatever, right? Like, or because Jezebel's there and she's like, Hypaxia, end it. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, it was just very strange. Then like Hypaxia is the new head of the House of Flame and Shadow. Like she took the Under King's place. And Jezebel's like, "Oh well, now that since you hold the power, like let Connor speak." And then all of a sudden, Connor can speak, and he's like, "Ethan, this bullet is made out of all the second light from all of us, and give it to Bryce. She'll know what to do." It's like, what?
Yeah, which, yeah. So now, like, all of a sudden, like,
Really, it's just so fucking.
Ethan
I don't
and
know. Are we
Hypaxia are
being
like,
haters? Are we being haters? Is that what it is?
I mean, yes, but like,
Like, I can't tell if it's like if I'm just like really like leaning into the hater shtick, or like this actually was just not written well.
I think, like, honestly, though, like, I, like, so people, right? There's, like, obviously very two distinct camps for like Colleen Hoover. Like you love her, you hate her, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
feel like when I read like those books, like I personally like them, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when I read the hater comments, like I like laugh about it. I don't like doesn't change my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you and I are like individuals enough to like make our own opinion.
Yeah.
I think that people hated this book or like didn't like things because of all these weird things. Like
Yeah.
I think we might be leaning into it, but I also think like it's genuinely fucking weird. So it's like that's like Hypaxia and now Ethan are all of a sudden the heads of these huge houses. Like she's now the head of Flame and Shadow.
And it all happened in the span of like
And Ethan's
50,
prime.
100 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck? So, and also, mind you, Hypaxia was just part of the witches, which is like part of House and Earth and Blood, I
Mm-hmm.
think, or maybe Sky and Breath. I don't know. The witches are part of like the other house. She just deflected or deferred or whatever the fuck she did
Deflected.
to Flame and
Defected.
Shadow. Yeah, thank you. She just did that for Flame and Shadow, so she just became a member
She
for
did
Flame
that.
and Shadow like 2 days ago, and now she's the ruler of them. I mean, what in the fuck? I don't even mind Hypaxia being like a like bad bitch for Flame and Shadow. I'm kind of into that vibe for her. Like lean into your necromancing, pop
No,
off.
yeah, for sure.
But I'm also like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, like and like, okay, the Prime easy to kill because like withered old man. I feel as though the Underking, I'm like, we're just killing this death, this Grim Reaper. We're just gonna
Yeah.
kill him real quick. Sorry.
But he like was from another world, he says.
And Ethan's power helped him because whatever. But okay, here's my thing. Even with the Asteri tamping down their powers, and now like Ethan's gotten his full power back.
They're that powerful. I mean,
Right. Like you still should be able to kill the rulers of houses or like the Asteri.
like do they only have like 15% of their actual power? Like I don't
Well, and like I'm
understand.
sorry, like there's not going to be a whole world of all powerful beings, right? Just like in Akatar, like Reese is the most
Yeah.
powerful High Lord. Like it's not like all the High Fae just have unlimited power
Yeah.
constantly all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be fucking crazy.
Yes.
Weird. Anyways, so yeah, that happened. Um, so now they're all ready to fight. Whatever. So to distract them first, because she wants the Asteri like busy, so they don't see like Hell's fucking miles long army marching on them.
Yeah.
And so Bryce makes a video to send
Bro,
out to the world.
this
Um,
annoyed me. I
I,
hated this.
it's the video of her killing Micah and saying like the Asteri took our powers. It's very like third book of Hunger Games, and I hated that book. So it's like a what's it called? A campaign.
Yes. Yeah,
I
no. I
I
didn't
hated
like it.
I hated Hunger Games for that reason. Like the third book, I didn't even watch the third movies because I was like, I hate this.
Mm.
And same vibe, same vibe.
Yeah, like it's like a fucking ransom video. Like rally
Yeah,
with me or die, like I don't know. I
I
didn't
didn't.
like it. I thought
I
it was
really,
stupid. I thought it was corny. I was like, this is dumb.
I just didn't feel anything for this book. Like,
No, like I did not care. I was like, honestly, if everyone ignored this video and was like, you're on your own, fine.
yeah,
Because guess what? They've been doing on the show on their own
I
anyways.
just
What's
feel
the
like
difference?
she's saying so many things, right? Like keeping the plot moving, that nothing's having impact. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Hmm.
moving so quickly. Like with Akatar, the war was building up for 3 books. So when the war happened, you were like, here it is. And it like focused on like the one main plot point.
Hmm.
This, it's like it kind of focused on like the Asteri overall defeating them. But then like all the stuff around that is moving so quickly that I'm not like even the parasite, like it makes sense for the overall plot, but it was like quickly introduced, quickly solved. So I'm not
Yeah.
like feeling as a reader attached to anything. I think you're saying too many things and throwing too many minor plot points at us at once for me
Yes.
to care any
It's
particular way.
called superfluous.
Thank you. I didn't know what that word meant, so now I know.
Yes. It's fancy.
Thank you.
Fancy. Fancy.
Fancy. And so
But yeah,
as we
no, I
just
hated it. So
well, and
that's
like
it.
literally going off the plot of side quests and like how there's so many points going on, we know what Hypaxia and Ethan are doing, but what's everyone else doing? And so Ethan's going to the Eternal City now because he's going to deliver the antidote.
Okay,
But
fine.
now, all of a sudden, Pollux takes Lydia's kids.
Yeah. That.
Okay.
Okay, that could have been something so much bigger than it was.
Yeah.
Like
So
she could have really
Pollux,
fucking built that up.
yeah,
She could have killed one of the
Pollux.
kids, man. I mean, like
Oof, that'd been brutal. Okay,
you
so
want to make an
Pollux,
impact on your people.
right? Pollux takes the kids. And also Tharian, they quested him to go beneath to the River Queen. This is back when they were in Avalon. To go beneath and to ask the River Queen and her daughter to harbor the refugees. And so while he's down there, he brings what's her fucking name, Safia,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a bad bitch. Honestly, like her. She's like quickly introduced, but like she's great.
But like
Um,
random. Like, oh,
no,
now we
yeah,
have an all like fucking badass bitch Faye that's like now married to Therian. Like it's just I
right.
don't know.
Well, and so she's like giving it to the River Queen, and she's like, listen, and she's like playing the role well. So then Tharian's like, listen, she's give the River Queen's playing hard to get, whatever. Tharian's like, listen, bitch, if you harbor all these people, I'll divorce Sathya and marry your daughter again. And I'm like, what? Tharian, shut the fuck up. Why is that your only card?
Yes.
Why is that your only card?
Nobody wants to marry you.
Nobody.
Nobody.
And no one does. And so the River
Well,
Queen's like,
apparently the River Queen's daughter does. I
well, yeah,
mean,
she's like
she can't let her
begging.
go. What the fuck?
I mean, he must be so hot for her to be like had sex once, and she's like, please. Also, he probably does some freaky things. Like a mermaid probably is really freaky in bed, so she probably was just like. And at that point, like he
She's
actually,
also a mermaid.
I know, but whatever. I'm sure it's great. Anyways, I'm also sure like when they had sex the first time, he actually wanted her, so I'm sure he was all in. He probably gave her like all his cards. Like he like liked her so much, thought she was so hot that he literally proposed to her to have sex with her. So he probably like put his A game in bed, and she's like, I can't let it go. I simply can't.
I don't
10
know.
years, I want it again.
I don't know. I think we're thinking about this too deep. I think these people are fucking stupid, honestly.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I agree probably. Okay, so then the River Queen is like, actually, no, like, I don't want you to marry my daughter at all. You're a fucking freak. And the River Queen basically reveals that she's always been working with the rebellion and,
Hmm.
she's the good guy and she was like hard on Tharian, but, I will harbor the refugees for you and like, you're good, dude. Go live your life. I was like, girl, what?
Literally, you had a bounty on his head like 5 seconds ago, and you were like,
Right.
"I want him dead." But you know what? I've been working for the rebellion, and now that I see that you're doing that, amazing. You're free to go.
And she's like, you and Safia look happy.
What? What
It
did
was
she like take her medication that day? Like what's the deal
right.
here?
Again,
Is she
easy.
having an episode? So it's convenient. It's very convenient.
Yeah, it was weird. Like honestly, I wish that she would have been like the chapter would end with like, I will harbor them in exchange for your head, and then like just chopped his
Yeah.
head off.
That's what I'm saying. Like throw some crazy shit in there.
Right. I wouldn't mind. I again like I like Tharian as a whole. He's been annoying me this book, but I would be sad if he died, basically.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, like give me something crazy. Anyways, so whatever. And then I'm just gonna say this clumped in together because I think it's fucking funny. At the end of the book, whatever, we'll get to how it ends. But Safi is like, JK, I'm leaving you, and just leaves him. So I feel bad because I think he was like genuinely like, oh, I feel like he felt like she was a girl who could fix his life, and then she left him.
Yeah.
So I did feel kind
For
of bad.
yeah, which was like her ex-boyfriend was like her ordeal or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's now like under the thrall of the Viper Queen. And she was like, Connor, get away, Connor, Connor, get away. And
Is that
Connor's
his name?
like, I think his name's Connor.
Maybe. I don't even know what his name is. I don't give a fuck. Either way, she left. So it's like you literally introduced her.
Colin? Colin.
Colin, you're right.
Colin. Well, anyways, so whatever.
So now she's gone again.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. Sorry, I had to yawn. For all intents and purposes, she like is probably out of the book now. Like, like future books. Like she's probably just that was it. Which is crazy. So whatever. Fucking A. Okay, so that was
I just
like
can't.
that's all the side quests going on. So like I said, Pollux taking Lydia's kids is gonna be like a thing, but Tharian basically did his little side quests, he succeeded, and now he's like gonna go also help fight in the Eternal City.
Yeah.
So they're all
like,
headed there basically.
Yeah. So they're in the Eternal City. And, you know, I think even at this point, like SJM writes like in the book, like Bryce makes a comment about like how easy it was to get into the palace. And I'm like, yeah, well, this whole fucking book has been too easy, bitch. Like I'm glad you're like recognizing it. It's like she's recognizing her bad writing. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't.
The story building just was not there this book. Anyways, turns out Rigulus is like, I was expecting you, and I knew this was going to happen, so I have my army that's going to destroy the armies of hell, and da-da-da. And Bryce is like, oh my god, like, ah. Whatever. So now Lydia and Rune are like running through Eternal City trying to find her kids, and then, they're confronted with Pollux, and he's got the kids, and then, Rune is like, I love you, Lydia, like, we are mates.
I
He says like
mean,
some cute last words to her, which is fine, but like, we knew that was coming, right? I mean,
but
I knew
like,
in book two, like, they were
why?
mates.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Oh my god. Like, people can be in love and not be mates.
Yeah, I don't really know, but like, fuck
Every,
Pollux.
every book, man. Every fucking book.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that mad about them
But like,
because I like their story.
no, same. But it's like, I feel like in Actar, right, when she introduced mates, it was like, it's really hard.
It's
And
very
like,
rare and
if you find your mate, you're fortunate.
and like and it's crazy too because like I think we mentioned this a couple episodes ago. It was like, okay, she's given everyone a fucking mate, but like she literally wrote in ACOTAR that like it's very rare to even like your mate. Like
Right.
mates have been just used for bloodlines before, basically, it seemed like.
Right. And so wait, here's my question. I don't remember, maybe you know. Like in Throne of Glass, spoiler alert if you haven't read Throne of Glass, when Lysandra and Aiden, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that his name?
Adian?
Aiden, thank you. They're not mates, right? Like they just like each other?
Yeah.
Like, so fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Like even Lorcan
And
and
allied.
Allied. I was gonna say it so wrong. Thank you for helping me. Lorcan and Allied. I don't think any of them are mates. They just like each other. Great.
Yeah,
Like that's normal behavior.
I know. It's just
What the
like,
fuck is going on?
it's
Like
just
even like honestly, Nesta and Cassian, if they weren't mates, like I would have been loving that because they like just genuinely were like, I fucking hate you, and they were like, oh, but you're so hot, and I can't resist. Like that would have been just so sick.
yeah, I mean, that would have been fine.
Yeah. So like stop making everyone fucking mates. It's weird as fuck. It's a weird flex. Like I don't like it. And it's like always a big reveal. And he's like, my mate Lydia. And you're like, oh my god. I don't fucking care. I don't care.
Yeah, well, they're mates, so.
Fuck. Fuck. Oh God. I'm just like I literally read that and I was like, of course you fucking are. I was like, next,
uh,
like, but again, it's getting to the point where like when Reese and Feyre, I will never forget my reaction when like they were mates. I was like like gasping. That was so beautifully done. Like you were like, holy fucking hell. Like you were like,
mm-hmm.
this is I'm living for this. Like amazing. The way it was delivered, the fact that they were mates at all, you were like, I'm eating this shit up.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, I don't care. Next. Like you're again, like you're doing it so much that I'm just like over it.
Yeah, because it's casual. It's like, oh yeah, this is my mate.
Like I love
Oh yeah,
Lydia.
we're mates.
Yeah, I love Lydia and Rune. I do. As a couple, like great. But like, why do you have to be mates? Why can't he just be like a hot stepdad and he loves you?
Yeah.
Like he literally, she was going to save her kids, and he loved her so much he fucking shot her in the leg so she wouldn't go kill herself, like fighting
Yeah.
Pollux.
Which is crazy.
I mean, amazing.
And then we get like more information about like why she named her one son Brannon.
Yeah. So Bran is really Brannon.
Yeah, and I was like, immediately when she said Brannon, I was like, yep, Throne of Glass.
Let me get the
And
quote for that because she explains it like, oh, in our histories or whatever. So let
well,
me
that's
find
the
it.
thing, right? So it's like, okay, another door is open now for Throne of Glass.
Yes. So
You
she
know,
says,
and like it makes
uh,
sense because their emblem is a stag, and she's from a
yes.
stag line.
So basically, she ran into Danica, Lydia, and they were talking about how like the shifters are fae, and it says the shifters were fae from another world. Danica had explained, blessed with a fae form and a humanoid one, gifted with elemental powers. Very Throne of Glassy, obviously. And the next part says why she had named Brannon after the oldest legends from her family's bloodline of a fae king from another world, fire in his veins, who had created stags with the power of flame to be his sacred guards. Okay, so it's related to Aelin. So again, if you just leave it there, I don't mind it. So we know, okay, like, because even say the next series she's writing that like no one knows about,
Mm-hmm.
now we know like all the worlds. Like it's just like they're happening at the same time. They all could connect. So that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. But just leave it. Just please, I'm begging you, SJM, please, please, dear God, just leave it. Just leave it at that. I don't want you to have anything else. Leave Aelin and Rowan alone.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Let him be.
Yeah, don't make a whole thing.
Well, I guess it remains to be seen what's gonna happen.
I don't even want to know at this point.
Let's just finish up this fucking book. So, anyways, the sprites come. I liked that. Like, they came and they fucking set everything on fire, which was awesome. Like all the armies, they like attack, whatever. And then so Bryce finds out that like the first light core is kind of like the cauldron in the essence of like it's a kill switch.
Which you said, you guessed that.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck right on, you know? And that leads us up to Bryce doing what you said, you know, like banishing the Asterian to this chasm of nowhere.
It was
And
weird though, because she was like, I'm going to shoot and kill the first light core. And then it made a black hole. But then she opened a bigger black hole to eat that black hole.
yeah, which is like a thing in science. Like in astronomy, like that's like a thing. Like
Okay.
there's different levels to a black hole.
So I guess Bryce just, because she could open portals to other worlds, so she made.
An even bigger one to eat it.
Because I'm like, then the world wouldn't be destroyed. Like if she could close her black hole, then the other black hole that would eat Midgard would be destroyed, so Midgard is fine.
Yeah.
Which, fine, I guess, if like that's a real thing. Like,
I
okay,
mean, I really like okay, I didn't like how this was done, but I appreciate the science behind it.
okay,
You
so
know, and
I
like so like basically how she like banishes the Asterians to this black hole and then she ends up going in after them, right? And so it's like they're moving closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the rim, right? And once you hit that edge, like you boop, you bleep out of existence, like you're done. And so
yeah,
like
yeah.
I could appreciate that because like that's real. Like that's a thing, you know.
Okay, so like I'm fine with that then. You know what I'm saying? Like so I feel like that certain thoughts and like science things and like Ryan's very into like other universes, science, black holes.
Mhm.
Certain things are too big for my brain to understand.
Mhm.
Like he really wants to one day do like ayahuasca and like, you know, break the realms of his mind. I'm like, I'm actually good. Like I'm fine being in this realm, in this plane. Like my soul maybe
Me
is a
and Ryan
newer.
get it.
Yeah, maybe like my soul is like a newer soul to this world than you guys. Like
Mhm.
I've been around one less trip than you guys have. Like I'm good. That shit freaks me out. I'm interested, but I think I'm scared. So
Yeah.
I'm comfortable being comfortable.
Mm.
So yeah, so now that you're explaining this to me, I hate it less. You know.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I just think again it was like that was very Throne of Glassy. Like, but again, I guess that does make sense if there is a bunch of worlds overlapping, they would all have that same scientific concept of black holes and
Well, it's like this. It's the concept of time. You know, time is not linear; it's circular.
right.
Well, I guess depending on who you talk to, but
Right, but I guess
you
in
know,
SJM, clearly she feels that way and she's writing her series around
well,
it.
yeah, because then there's that whole talk of like, you know, there's multiple realities happening at the same time.
Which
Like
is
there is a you in another parallel universe that's like you but not you. You know what
right.
I
Well, and
mean?
she's not even leaning into that as much, but she's leaning into like there are worlds happening at the same time as each
Yeah.
other. Um which again, so if that's the concept she's writing, we can't hate it that much because it would make sense that like they're banishing the bad people
No,
and
like
there's
that
certain
part's fine. It's just her delivery of all this other shit.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
which
I thought this was super convenient that like, you know, this is
well,
this
it's
whole build up and
convenient.
then all of a sudden she's like, "Yep, gonna put you in the black hole and then I have to sacrifice myself to close it," you know?
Right. The plot point isn't bad, as you said, because if it's scientifically accurate, fine. It's annoying that it's convenient in all of her series. There's multiple people in these series who can open these black holes.
Mhm.
Like, you don't have people walking around here just open up black holes. Obviously, it's not fantasy, but I'm just saying,
That's
like,
not funny.
it's convenient that, like, in all of her stories, there's people with powers to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's like the same story, just like different characters. Like it's
Well, no
slightly
one in
different.
Akatar could do open a portal.
Well, Aelin did.
That's Throne of
Not
Glass,
oh,
though.
I mean, sorry, not Akatar. You're right. Throne of Glass. Yes, I'm thinking of Throne
But
of
she
Glass.
wasn't. Was she?
She couldn't
But
open
her
the.
herself wasn't opening the portals. It was the magic of the word keys, right?
Yes, but I'm just I guess saying like that. But she had to be the one to like wield them, like because of like her whole lineage and all that
Mm,
stuff.
gotcha. Yeah, no, I mean,
So it's like,
whatever. But like, yeah, so like Bryce is like floating in this black hole, and Hunt's like, I must save her. So he like puts on one of those mech tech suits and like blasts himself into the black hole, and he like fucking kicks Rigulus in the face, and he goes flying. Bleep, he's gone, and then like grabs Bryce and is like able to fucking bring her back. Which you know you need like some type of propelling movement in space because you just like there's nothing there, you
like if you
know.
start moving one way, you'll just keep going that way forever.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no sound, obviously. So like okay, like that part was cool. Like I liked that.
Yeah.
But then like okay, so he brings her back and like you know she's dead. But like as like I knew that she wasn't going to be dead for long. Like I was like
Yes.
you knew that she was
Yes.
going to get saved.
That's my
So
issue.
just like how convenient fucking Jezebel, and this was a thing they alluded to this earlier in the book when Jezebel's telling Ethan about like her story, and he's like, "So then why don't you just like die or something?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm not ready yet. Like the
Just
time
die,
isn't
bitch.
now or whatever." And now all of a sudden the time is now because she trades her place in the afterlife for
Okay.
Bryce's.
So I
And how
agree.
convenient everyone's there. All the pack of devils are waving at her. And then Danica's like, light it up, bitch. And then
Okay, so
she
that
gets pulled
part,
back.
the only okay, so that's why I like the first book so much is because like I really resonated with like her grief and like she missed her friend and like that's why I like cried when, she made the drop and Danica helped her. Like it was like, "Oh my god, this is like heartbreaking."
Yeah.
So even this part when like the pack of devils like they did make it to the afterlife and like, their souls are fine and they're waving. I got a little teary, I'm not going to lie, because like that like really is like a real like feeling.
Yeah.
I wish Bryce just died. Um, which is fucked up maybe. Like we hated again, spoiler alert for other series, Divergent, spoiler alert. We hated when they killed Triss. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But also like because then she also did it just in a bad way, which is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but like if Bryce did all this and then just died,
What?
kind of badass. And then like, you know, if Bryce died and then like I think again, Divergent done in a bad way. If Bryce died, made it to the afterlife, and Danica was waiting, and they were like all together, and there was an afterlife, I would have been crying like a fucking baby, like a
Yeah.
baby,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be. Um,
Well, you're not
yeah.
getting it here, so
What I'm saying, like you just said, you read that someone dies, and at this point, I'm like, okay, let me go 5 pages, I'll be back. Like, it's just
yeah.
annoying. It's just annoying.
That's yeah.
Only
Um
the bad guys die. Okay, give me a fucking break.
yeah, no, I agree. But I thought it was interesting too how like okay, so Bryce comes back, right? And then she opens the portal again to Nesta. And she's
Mm.
like, "Okay, here's your mask." And then like her parents are like, "Bryce, you're in so much trouble."
But it was cute how like I like to see them interacting with Cassie and Nesta because they seemed like they were having a little like time.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, is like her mom Ember's like parting words with Nesta were like, "You'll find your way." I'm like, "What the fuck? Find your way with what?" We also don't know what time it is, like in regards to Silver Flames. Like, how far is she out
Yeah,
from all
we
that?
yeah, right. We know that Nyx is alive, so it has to be, you know, after and as a whole. But yeah, we have no idea
But
as
like,
far
is it
as
a few months? Is it a few years? Like, what's the dealio? Like, I just thought that was like really fucking weird.
yeah. Well, and then Bryce
Which
returns
again
proof.
leaves the door open maybe for another mashup.
Right.
Because we know Bryce can just open this portal whenever she wants. Even though when she's talking to the prince from hell, she was like, I hope I never see you again. But like you can literally just open the portal to him.
Right. Yeah, it's not hard.
Or did they
Um,
seal it forever? But like,
oh no, she may have, but like, yeah, what's to say you can't open it again, you know?
there's fucking 7 other gates in Crescent City.
Right. Yeah, and Bryce also gives back Truth Teller, but then she also gives Nesta the Star Sword, and
Oh yeah.
she's like, oh, here, take this, and like find out why the 8-pointed star was on you. So now, part of me is like, are Cassie and Nesta like the Dusk Court High Lord and High Lady?
Oh.
And Bryce also alludes in this book, and she says, I wonder if me saving Evelyn also restored the Dusk Court, which she made a point and said that, so I have a feeling potentially yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, okay, sidebar. Imagine being the Akatar people and also in the prisons, this beautiful, lush, fertile land. I'd be like,
Yeah.
what? I'd be like, how did that happen? Like just
Yeah.
flying by, being like, holy shit!
Yeah, because
There's
we don't
waterfalls
know.
and flying
Yeah.
horses.
Yes.
So I'm now thinking that like maybe Nesta and Cassian are gonna, because
That
right now
would
they're
make
living in the
sense.
House of Wind. Like
Yeah.
it's not really a home.
How ironic that they will then be a High Lord and High Lady. And then Elaine will end up with probably one of the other High Lords, and she will
Tamlin.
be. Imagine Talon's like, I take back everything I said about High Lady. Elaine, you are my High Lady.
But like Elaine, like I said, Elaine would love to just be fucking his wife and just dress up,
Yeah,
garden. She's like the perfect wife,
for sure.
like in that sense for him. Not
Mm-hmm.
like in general, but like has
Yeah.
no opinions. Just give me a garden, a spring court, perfect place for you to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I don't mind her living a quiet, unproblematic life.
Yeah. Yeah,
They go
it's
visit
fine.
her. She's fine.
Yeah, right.
Um,
All good over here.
so yeah, so that's my theory as far as that. I think that, and honestly, I can see Nesta and Cassian being Dusk. That makes sense for them.
Yeah, I could see it.
Like their personalities, I'm fine with them.
But what's gonna happen with all the other creepy bad things?
I don't know.
Are they just like unleashed? Are they killed? I mean,
Well,
like, what is it?
I don't know. I guess we'll talk about it. We're gonna, just so you guys know, before we conclude this book, next episode we're doing something a little bit different. We're gonna not do like a review, but we're gonna talk about a deep dive on like how we felt about the whole multiverse crossover, um, how it was personally for us to fucking deep dive on all these books, and just like our thoughts on like the whole series and the two series together,
Mm-hmm.
and also what we expect next. So that's going to be our next episode, just to kind of like put a little bow on this really intense 17 episode chunk.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll chat about all kinds of fun, freaky theories and just like what we think is going on. So stay tuned for that next week.
Yes.
And then of course this book is now ending, and of course everyone lives happily fucking ever after. Hunt and Bryce, great. They're having a fucking time. You know, most of our fucking crew is rulers of city things now.
Yeah.
They're basically the only problem they have is obviously the first light core is done. So now like all their technology and stuff, like that was what was powering it. So they have like scientists working, like it's gonna be pretty much like a blackout.
Yeah, it'll run out.
So they have to figure out like how to do this. Like, do people want to voluntarily give some of their power, like a little bit? Do
Tax
the higher
the rich.
right? Yeah, tax the rich. Like it's like a very like, ooh, this is a moral dilemma. So I kind of like that part. That was fine. There's also the bonus chapter in the book that Hallie and I have. It's Bryce's and Hunt's bonus chapter. Um, they're just home for Christmas, solstice, whatever, winter solstice.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just like whatever. Like I said, like again, like okay, you had your happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like I honestly, I just like a happier ending would have honestly been like Bryce dying, which sounds fucked up, but then like being with Danica. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have been sad, but also felt at peace with that and been like, she's okay.
Yeah. I mean, also too, like she de-establishes like the Fey lineages. She's like, oh yeah, all you royal bloodlines, you're not royal anymore.
Yeah, but I just like I also like forget some of these things because I'm like I just didn't care. I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah, well, everyone's up in arms, so now it's like, okay, well, what's the future like for the Fae as well?
Right. And then Runa and Lydia are fine. They actually get the apartment below Bryce's. They're having a happy little life.
Yeah.
They get like the beer they promised each other, which that was fun and cute.
Yeah, that was fine.
But also, like, I wasn't like I'm happy that they're happy. But again, I don't care how many times I'm gonna fucking say it. If Bryce died and then Rune and Lydia were happy, I would have been like, that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
and like whatever. I would have felt bad for Hunt, but like, yeah, you should feel bad for certain people. I don't know.
Oh, but then also we totally didn't mention that like Shahar was like in one of the mech suits and like
Whatever.
she helped him like save Bryce.
Yeah. Yay. Whatever. I'm just over it. Okay, so whatever. So what were your thoughts on this book itself? We'll do like the whole series next week, but like
Hmm.
how did you feel about this book?
I think I had a lot of moments where I did not like the book, and then there were fewer moments that I was happy with the book compared to when
Mm-hmm.
I was upset with the book.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like it was just very lukewarm, and like like it wasn't even like strong emotions. Like I fucking hate this book. It was just like this book sucks. Like it's just
Yeah, it's like whatever. Like
like I
whatever.
couldn't even be passionate and not liking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it was, and like honestly, I don't know if I mentioned this like out loud or in my head or what. It would have been cool to have more of a crossover. Like I was fully in belief that the inner circle was going to help defeat the Asteri.
Yeah.
Um, I missed out on having like Cassian and Azrael with guns. Sick. Like I would have wanted that.
Hmm.
Um, I'm glad it didn't like mesh up so much, but I almost wish they would have like meshed up more this book. And
Hmm.
then like the next Akatar book, they could have just referenced it. Oh, when we went and helped out Midgard, and then kept it moving. Like you still could have done more of a mashup and still kept the integrity of the books. I
Yeah,
felt
for sure.
like I'm glad that you kept the integrity of both series, like so that you could read them separately.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like you could have done a little bit more. I felt.
There could have been more like development, like when Bryce was in Prithian. I felt.
Agreed. So yeah, I just and like again, like could have just referenced in Akatar, and we would have known what they meant.
Yeah,
Also, why would you not want people to be almost like forced to read both series? That's better selling and marketing for you.
literally.
Um, I agree with you. I think it wasn't like I passionately hated things. I'm reacting like strongly here because I'm just like over it, but I think I'm just
Yeah,
over it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It's just
of
like
course they're alive. Of course they're fine. Yada yada. Okay, okay. Like, I really, really feel like we'll talk next episode about my thoughts for next Akatar. I have high hopes. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air. Um, I hope it is at least because I can't do the same thing. The same song and dance can't happen again.
yeah, no. We need something better.
Like, and even authors who write similar books, right? So, like Colleen Hoover writes like her romance type stuff with big, big drama plot points. Lucy Foley writes a lot of like who done it murder mysteries, almost like very Agatha Christie. But like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
even though Colleen Hoover does the romance, it's like you get spooky murdery ones, you get like domestic violence ones, you get like fertility problem ones. Like it's still different topics. I feel like I need like overall plot differentiation in SJM's books. I can't do the mate thing. I can't do no one dies. I can't do the black hole again. I just can't.
Well, yeah. I mean, like we've been saying it since the beginning that this book seems like it was like a fucking fanfic. Like it was inspired by all these other books that she's written,
Yeah,
right?
like I agree. I think it was fine to read. I gave it 3 stars, honestly. I was in the same camp as you. I think it was like 3.5, but I didn't give a fuck. I was like, you're getting 3 then.
I don't know. I just felt like there was something wrong about giving SJM a 3 star. Like I wasn't there yet, you know.
No, I agree with you. And so yeah, I think the book was fine. I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't finish this book.
Hmm.
I just think I had higher hopes and like it was built up, which maybe that was like all of our problem.
Yeah.
But I also just felt like, yeah, it was just whatever. So I am glad to be done of it.
Hmm.
I'm glad to be done of her works for now. I do need a little break, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to pick up another one of her books for a very long time.
Yeah, and so as we mentioned, next week we will be releasing an episode just our thoughts on SJM, how it was to do a deep dive, just like a little bonus filler episode. We think we need to kind of conclude this because it was just a lot. So,
Yeah.
our final thoughts on it and just to give ourselves a nice little bookend. And then the week after that, we're going to be covering Housemaid, which you guys voted on. That's our thriller we're doing next. And the
I feel
thriller,
like this was like 5 months ago. We asked them what you want us to read next.
I mean, yeah, but it just took us forever to get
I
here.
still haven't gotten
So,
there yet.
yeah,
Oh my
so
god.
whatever. So we're doing Housemaid next. That's
We've
like
been
our.
talking about housemaids since like fucking Akatar, the beginning of
I
Akatar.
know, because we've known, but now things will turn over much quickly, guys, much more quickly. We're gonna do like solo books all summer. We'll have you vote on them. It'll be a lot of
Honestly,
fun.
the rest of the year. I don't want to pick up another fucking series.
No, we're not. And even
Even though
honestly,
Housemaid is a series,
that's what I
but
was gonna say. So we are gonna probably cover the rest of Housemaid series at some point, but not right now. We just want single books. We want to have fun, different varieties. We'll do thriller, self-help, romance. Maybe we're debating. We mentioned that book club briefly a few episodes ago. So we are debating doing a fantasy, but same thing, one solo book, Hunting Adeline, to go to the June book club just to like meet some more people, some more bookish friends, so that we can, have more interactive experiences with our listeners. But then same thing, like even though that's a series, we're just gonna do the first book. Like we're not we're not doing a series for a little bit. We
you
can't.
know, I can't. My mental capacity is just not there.
Yeah. So what's upcoming for you guys is our end thoughts on this whole experience. Housemaid, Hunting Adeline, and then we're going to have votes for what you guys want to hear next. And it's going to be a whole variety of fun things. So stay tuned. It's going to be lots of fun this summer. Again, much more quick turnaround as far as what you guys want to hear and see. And it will happen much faster than this like death crawl to Housemaid.
Well, yeah, literally. Honestly, like we won't even. This is really gonna take us until like June. I believe
Yeah.
we're in like the end of June.
Yeah.
So July, you'll get some new content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically.
The last week of June is when Housemaid will come out. So,
Okay.
all right. Well,
Alrighty, y'all.
thanks
I
for fucking buckling down with us for this SJM deep
seriously,
dive, guys.
it's
But
been
now we did
crazy.
2 out of 3 of her series. So honestly, good for us. All right, guys. So we will see you next week.
Yes.
Thanks for listening. We
Also,
love ya.
the future ones cannot be this long, Jamie.
No, well, I feel like they just won't be because,
Please, like 45 minutes tops.
yeah, it's going to be a lot less like, ooh, like the crazy man with the red string. We're going to have a lot less of that.
Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, so we will give you guys that. All right, friends. We love
Alrighty.
you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.